So for today's video, I have a really interesting topic I want to talk about, and that is I actually quit smoking pot recently, and I want to talk about how it affected me and just some of the very strange side effects I've had of not smoking for a couple of weeks. So at the time of recording this video, I'm about 2.5 to 3 weeks into this, not super far along. But I just want to talk about my experience and maybe see if anybody else has had a similar experience to me. So I quit because obviously job hunting, and also I just really didn't want to feel like I was a slave to marijuana anymore. Now I know that most stoners or hardcore weed smokers are going to look at me and laugh because I used to be someone that would do the same thing. I'd see a guy talking about how he wants to better his life by not smoking, and I'd say, well, wow, you're an idiot. Smoking doesn't ruin your life. And while I don't think it necessarily ruins your life, I definitely think it slows your progress down and keeps you in a slump. And I'm going to explain how different I felt since I started doing this. So, I want to start off by saying my first week off it was a very strange one. I didn't feel any type of anything really different. I still, had no issue sleeping. I didn't feel any craving or anything because I actually personally, I will give, stoners this one. I don't think weed is addictive, at least not, in a chemical or physical way. A mental state, definitely a little bit. Hear me out on this one, but definitely not in a your body will need it way. It's just going to be kind of like a psychological thing where your mind is going to go, yo, man, I really, really want to do that. Not like I need to do that, but like I want to do that because it's something you enjoyed doing for so long. For me personally, I smoked almost every day. Not necessarily, not smoked actually, but I consumed edibles every day for about 5 years, I want to say. And I personally loved it. I loved the feeling of feeling high. I loved the feeling of coming home, relaxing, getting a little high, watching some stupid videos on YouTube, laughing it out, and then going to bed and getting that deep sleep in, waking up the next day. You go to work and repeat it basically. Made video games a lot more fun, and it made some parts of life a little more tolerable. I'm going to be real. But ever since I quit, I haven't had that like overwhelming desire to smoke. And I think that's a good thing. But something that I did notice is around week 2 is when everything started to kind of change internally, at least body wise for me. It's almost like my nervous system or my internals realized finally that it's not like that's not hitting my system every day because the way I used to do it is I would pop edibles, chocolate for the most part. I used to do, this is going to sound crazy to some of you guys, but I think even to some smokers, I used to pop a 100 milligram edible just about every day, sometimes two, and I would also smoke a little bit as well. So I was getting high every day. And it was a great ride. Don't get me wrong. It was a great ride. It was a lot of fun. But so now that I've been 2 weeks into this, my nervous system seems to be rewiring itself in a way to like kind of accept that that's not going to happen anymore. And I've been having these insane dreams when I can actually sleep. Before I get into that, I wanted to say I've been having really bad insomnia. I used to pass out. I get up early for work. Wow, tripping over my words here. I used to get up really early I get up really early for work. So I would go to bed most of the time at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I have not been able to sleep, and some days until like midnight, and still get up at that time to go to work. It hasn't been nearly as bad as I thought it would be. I'm waking up with a lot more energy, that's for sure. And it's definitely improved my gut health as well. That's something else I want to say. I'm not going to touch too much on that one, but like it's definitely improved my gut health, not constantly having THC flowing through my body. And but yeah, so I had like some pretty bad insomnia for like the second week I was doing this. And when it started finally kind of wearing off, I started having these utterly insane dreams, like utterly out of this world. So, this is going to be one that I thought was really funny. I had a dream where a coworker of mine I was kind of in like a medieval setting. That one was kind of funny. Don't know how it triggered. I wasn't really playing anything like that. I had another dream where I was kind of like almost in a cave, where me and my girlfriend lived in a cave, and it was like a Skyrim type thing, and it was just very detailed, very lucid, and I would wake up saying to myself, "What the fuck did I just dream?" And when I was smoking weed, I could really barely remember parts of my dreams, or if I even had them at all. It just really didn't happen that much when I would smoke, and I'd also wake up very tired, despite the fact that I was, I felt like I was getting really good sleep, but I guess I wasn't. Probably because the weed just like when you come down from the high, I felt like the pot would just really overtire you, if that makes any sense. Like I would be so exhausted some mornings. I'd still drag my ass to work, don't get me wrong, but I would just be so tired, and it was crazy for me. And that's really the best way I can describe that. Ever since I stopped smoking, I feel like I have more energy when I wake up, minus that second week where I had, the really bad insomnia because I would literally be fueled on 4 hours of sleep a night. But even then, I still didn't feel atrocious during that time. I felt much better. Going into this now, I still am, I guess, like rewiring a little bit. Not as bad anymore. I've finally started getting a good night's sleep, and that feels really great to wake up and actually feel a little energized and not feel like I was hit by a freight train. Because that was the big thing. I'd wake up and sometimes I would feel like I was hit by a freight train. No matter how, even if I just like took a couple puffs, sometimes I'd feel like shit when I woke up. But I feel much better now. I think a lot less with my stomach now, and I'm sure this is a joke that a lot of people make. When you're up there, you want to eat a lot, and something that changed. Actually, I want to talk about something very specific that changed for me. Ever since I stopped smoking, I haven't really had the desire to drink as much soda anymore, if that makes any sense. I don't really know how to explain that one. Haven't done really any research on it either, but I went from drinking like 3 cans of soda a day to actually sometimes not even drinking one. One is usually my limit now. Most of the time I'll drink one and I'm good for the rest of the night, but like when I was smoking and definitely popping edibles, I was definitely sometimes drinking 3, 4 cans of soda a night. I was going through that really quickly. And let me tell you something, weed is a humongous money pit. I'm dead serious when I say this, and this is one thing I will not let anyone argue with me on, because not only is weed expensive, everything becomes more expensive when you're smoking. You order more food if you order out because you're not thinking clearly and you're thinking with your high brain and your high stomach. So you're going to want to eat more. Um, Again, you're going to consume more drink like that. Like I was saying before, I was drinking 3 to 4 cans of soda a night. Now I'm drinking maybe one. And if anything, my body's been craving more water because I felt incredibly dehydrated ever since that happened too. I just think my body has been running on empty for so long and the pot masked it. And now that I'm like sober, it was really crashing down on me, and it really made me feel like shit. It's crazy, like, because you don't notice any of this when you're smoking every night. And again, I have no hate for anyone who still smokes every night. I honestly respect it and I understand it completely. But it's like, it's weird. I feel like a totally different person, if that makes any sense. Um, I feel like even during day to day, I'm thinking a little more logically. I will say one thing though, one of the negative side effects of not smoking anymore is that I have had a little bit less tolerance for certain things, like certain things certain people do really have been pissing me off more than normal. And I guess that comes also again with having a little bit more of a clear head and being able to really analyze what they're doing or saying. And oh my god, yeah, that's the only big one. Other than that, I feel a lot better. I'm saving money, a lot more money now, because let me tell you, like, you're buying a chocolate bar of weed every week, a chocolate bar with weed in it every week. And I also used to smoke like the vape pens, and I would occasionally smoke the live flower as well. The vape pens are sometimes $40, $50 a piece. The live flower obviously depends on how much you get, but even then that costs money too. And all in all, you could be spending anywhere from $300 to $400 a month on weed. I wasn't spending quite that much, obviously, but I've seen other people spend that much. And even with the money, I'm still saving plenty of money now that I'm not buying all the time. It's something else also I want to talk about. I feel like my speech has gotten like a little, I don't know, slower. Like my brain sometimes takes a minute or two more to process things now. But I think that might just be a temporary side effect of, again, the body rewiring itself. I think clearer, but I think slower, if that makes any sense. It's very hard to describe. And even right now, like I said, I'm having like a moment right now where the gears are turning and I don't know how to describe it, but I feel it, like I feel more coherent and I feel more clear, but it takes me like a moment more to come up with the words. Cause again, I guess internal is rewiring. That's really what it comes down to. All in all, I think if you feel trapped by something like this, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I want you to know that quitting it is not as hard as people make you think. And I don't think that it's an addiction. I will still say that. I don't think it's an addiction. A mental addiction, maybe, but not a physical. And I just want you to know that if you're thinking about doing it, I think it will be great in the long term, because I think at the end of the day, I think I'm going to have a little more coherency. It enables me to do more things at night when I'm off work and not like that, because once, the edible hits, you don't want to do anything, you want to sit on the couch and chill out and laugh at some dumb videos and eat. It really stunted my creativity, in my opinion. I run another YouTube channel, and let me tell you, as soon as that edible kicked in, I didn't want to do any editing or anything I used to do for it. Now that I'm not like that, I find it much easier to get my deadlines done faster. And I think that's a really cool side effect. And I think that's something I really wanted. I want to be able to focus on myself, my future, and improving my craft so I can have a better future. And I felt like when I was constantly high, I couldn't do that. And I almost feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders, or like ball and chain cut off my leg. It feels much better. Feels a lot better. And it's a decision I'm very happy with. And if you're making that decision, which might actually be why you're coming to this video, because let me actually tell you something. After I quit, I actually got a lot of videos recommended to me about people who also quit. And it's funny because I watched a few of them, and a lot of them went through the exact same things I did. And so I didn't feel like a crazy person anymore. It really helped me validate my decision and feel a little bit better about what I was doing. And that's really all I have to say about that. So in conclusion, I feel better in some aspects. I feel worse in others. But all in all, it's more of a positive than a net negative. And I think this is the path in life I'd prefer to take. There is, again, no hate to anyone who smokes. And also, I'm going to be real here. Probably in the future at some point, like I might take a puff or two here and there. That's really it. But more like a social thing, not like I've been doing, because that I cannot anymore. It just was not working for life. It was not working for me, and it wasn't working for the people around me either. And I am very happy to say I think I see a bright future ahead and a very happier, lighter, and better path ahead of me. And with that, I just want to say that's really it. Let me know down below in the comment section if you're attempting this yourself, if you just quit, or how long you've been clean, whatever it is, or if anything you want to talk about down there. If you want to insult me and call me a moron and say I'm completely wrong, that's valid too. But this is just my experience, and I felt that I just really wanted to share it. And I think when I get a little further along down the line too, I think I'm going to talk about this again. Make another video and see how I feel maybe a couple months from now, maybe at like the 3-month mark or the the 1 month mark, or like the 3 month mark, I'll do one, and just to see how different things feel then as well. I'm Terrible Shoes. Hit the like and subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. And to anyone else who's trying this, I really do wish you the best of luck. Thank you.